from the No Look podcast with your boy AC Wheezy, presented by Insane Games TV. This podcast will primarily be talking about sports, love, life, long walks on the beach,
All the above,
lifting.
baby. Get your muscle up.
All the above.
Ha.
Get your muscle up. So we were just followed by after the Ring the Bell podcast, which me and Dan hosted. You can catch us on Wednesday at 5 p.m. starting off, and then comes to No Look podcast at 6 p.m. with me and AC Wheezy. And then after us, we got Dave with what does Dave do? Weekend Wednesday.
The Weekend Wednesday.
Does that start out at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
Or we?
The Dream Team is after you, but they're not on.
Oh, Dream Team.
They're not on
Well,
this
I'm
week.
talking about tonight.
Yeah, Weekend Wednesday, 8 o'clock.
Weekend Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Catch Dave playing. Is he playing Overwatch tonight?
That
What's
I
he
don't
playing
know.
tonight?
He has a group of people coming on. I forgot what show it is or what game it is though.
Well, either way, catch
We'll
Dave
figure it
playing
out.
something tonight on the Weekend Wednesday. We're off to a hot start right now.
Hey,
We're
we
killing it.
gotta plug the other channels. You know, we gotta show the other
Yeah.
fam love, the Insane Game fam.
Yeah, the Insane Game. AC Wheezy's been holding it down. He's been getting his muscle up. What
I
shows
mean-
have you been doing, AC?
You know, good segue, T. Appreciate that. As you can see, it's your boy Yo Soy AC Wheezy, and I know what you guys are thinking. You like, wait, not this guy again. We already got him 2 times a week, but it's all right. I'm here with my guy T, Tyler. He's doing the back-to-back.
Get your muscle up.
Get your muscle up, baby. It is what it is. So we
So
here.
you want to just dive right into this?
Dude, let's get it. I'm ready. I'm gonna see what happens. We're gonna come off the top, freestyle a little
we're
bit.
just gonna see what happens for sure. I mean, right now I want to talk about the NFL.
Yes, sir.
Week 14, big week, big slate of games that are happening this week in the NFL. We're not gonna go through them all. I don't think, unless you want to touch on all of them and just like make a pick, and then I'll just like say, well, this is a key game, and then we can just like dive in a little bit on the key games. But tomorrow, Thursday Night Football, we got the Cowboys versus Bears.
Okay.
Probably the battle of the most mediocre teams in the NFL right now.
I mean, I'd have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean I think it's in Chicago, so we got Bears weather for the people.
Okay.
Who you got? Who you got and why?
I mean, that's a tough game right now. I think I've told a couple other people that I could see this season for the NFC East ending up like how the AFC South ended up a few years back. If you remember, whoever won the division actually had a record below 500, but they still made the playoffs. So I could see most likely the Cowboys doing that. The Eagles, they're kind of up and down. Like you said, they're in Chicago. They got bear weather. It's going to be a little bit of a gritty game. Chicago, they have a good back. Obviously, Zeke's and for Dallas, he's a tough guy to tackle, especially in the cold. But I just feel like it's going to come down to defense in that one. And that's actually tough for me to say because I'm a cheesehead Packers fan. But I think I'm gonna have to give the edge to the Bears on that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to agree with you, especially after what I saw during the Thanksgiving slate of games with the Bears and the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the Cowboys they're on a downward path spiral that will probably still win them the NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see them beating the Bears this week. I think they're gonna actually come off a hot win against the Lions and then come out and beat the Cowboys for sure. On Sunday we got the Colts Bucks. That one's in Tampa, so I got to show up to work a little bit earlier because I work right next to Raymond James. So traffic is gonna be a bitch. But I'm gonna go with the Colts on this one. I think it's whatever the over is, just smash the over on it, and I'm gonna go with the Colts. I think they may be beat up, but they're not as bad as Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers. So.
I mean, you're not wrong there. The Bucs are a very bad team. I'm sorry that you have to be down there with them and kind of see all that turmoil. I'm actually going to go and oppose you on this pick. I'm going to have to go with the Bucs for the reasoning behind Jameis Winston. Now, is he a great quarterback? I don't know.
Is he elite?
He's still in the league somehow. He's getting paid. But for some reason, this guy always likes to show up in these games. The Colts are trying to fight for a playoff spot, and I feel like he always likes to play, Grinch, if you will, coming up on the Christmas season,
Ooh.
holiday season. But I think he's going to come to play.
Holiday season.
Holiday season, let's get it. No, I think him, Mike Evans, that backfield situation, I don't know what they got going on. When I play Ronald Jones, he gets 0 points. When I don't play him, he gets 20. So I'm not going to play him this week.
So
Ronald
basically
Jones
what you're saying is
off.
just start every single Buccaneers player fantasy football-wise that you can on Sunday.
I believe so, yeah. I think famous Jameis is going to be eating some dubs out here.
PPR-wise, over under 30 points, Mike Evans.
Oh, man.
And if you go under or over under on Chris Godwin.
Can I give a push? Because I think he'll be right at that 30 mark. Like you just said, Chris Godwin's kind of emerged as that solid second target for the Bucs this year. I think I'll have to go. I'll have to go over if I had to pick one, just because Colts, their secondary a little undersized. Obviously, Mike Evans, big guy, big frame, and that secondary is a little banged up. I think his size.
Here's a good over under for you, by the way. How many times are we gonna catch a camera glimpse of Jameis Winston squinting at the scoreboard this weekend? We'll go 2.5.
2.5. All right, I was gonna say like 20.5, but. Might be a little higher than that. I'll take the over all day.
over on Jameis squinting, over on the points, and over on the over for the game.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a shootout.
Next game, this one is a key one, I think. Ravens, Bills, both teams are playing out of their mind right now. The Ravens are 10-2. They travel to Buffalo.
Yep.
And facing a 9-3 Buffalo Bills team that came off what some say is an upset in Dallas on Thanksgiving. Who you got?
I mean, I'd be hard-pressed to go against the Ravens right now. They're tough. Last week they battled it out.
Bills defense.
Bills defense.
At home.
I see that, but look what they did last week against the 49ers. I mean, that's arguably the two best teams in the league, on either side, AFC, NFC. My riff with that was, I don't know why they didn't flex that game to primetime. The Pats, obviously, Belichick's got pulling some strings over in the office.
Well, this is another one. Why don't they flex this one to prime time?
I mean Bills just don't have the track record right now. They're not of that pedigree. They're having a good season. Obviously, you and I both from New York. I still reside here, so I conversate with a lot of Bills fans. I root for them. I'm glad they're having a good year. I see Dave in the back giving a little fist bump. I think they're solid. I think they're going to make the playoffs for sure, but I just think Lamar Jackson, that offense is clicking. We didn't even see a lot of Mark Ingram last week, so that's kind of another dynamic to that offense. I'm going to have to go Ravens all day.
I'm going upset city. I want to see the Bills beat the Ravens, and I want to see them doing it in dominant fashion. I think what's going to happen is, now I'm not going to say I think, I know what's going to happen is the Bills are going to come out, it's going to be a little bit nipply, and they're going to come out and smash the ball down Lamar Jackson's throat on defense. Man. They ate up the Dallas offense like it was nobody's business, who has one of the highest PPGs in the league this year, and I think it's going to happen again. I think the Ravens are due for an upset or a bad week this week, especially in Buffalo. I'm going with the Bills. I want to see the Bills win, and I want to see them win this game, and I want to see them win out the rest of the year.
We're not talking about wants. We're talking about who we expect to win the game. Because listen, I'd root for the Bills all day.
I expect the Bills to win.
Oh, man.
Bills defense in Buffalo, December weather in Buffalo. Fans are going to be flying from the rafters to jump through tables in this game.
You got Jim Kelly giving you a hand job underneath that table. What are you doing right now? You're making a fool out of yourself. This is a mockery.
It's not even
Get me out of here.
That they're jumping off of. They're jumping off of the top of the Ralph John Stadium. They're going to be going bananas. They're going to be throwing those little plastic things. I'm not going to say the word because this is a PG show, but they're going to be throwing shit on the field, and they're going to be going bananas. And I just don't think that the Ravens are going to be ready for this environment. I think the Bills are going to come out, and they're going to come out swinging.
Let me go back to what you said a moment ago. You said they're going to run the ball down Baltimore's throat. Is that what you said?
No, I said the defense is going is gonna push the ball down Lamar Jackson's throat.
Gotcha.
I think the defense is what's going to be the biggest part to the Bills winning. I mean, Josh Allen is playing phenomenal, and their offense is good. They don't have many offensive playmakers besides Cole Beasley at the moment, but and Devin Singletary. But I think the Bills' defense is what's going to be the main factor against Lamar Jackson.
No, I mean, their defense is solid. Shout out Josh Allen, the only guy that has ever had a website around his draft profile created for him. But I was just going to say, because you were talking about, which I misinterpreted you meant the Bills' defense. But I was going to say, I think Frank Gore, he's got like 10 more rushing yards, and he's just going to poof into dust. He's just going to, right on the field, man. He's just going to burst
We're gonna
out there.
We're going to watch a live death on camera with
I mean,
Frank Gore. He's gonna run himself into the ground literally.
Quite literally, yes, I agree with that. But no, it should be a good game.
Next game is Lions-Vikings. I mean, I'm just going to make my pick. I don't really care about this game. Vikings by like 50.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a toss-up game for me. Matt Stafford could potentially be coming back. You know, they kind of found a new life at running back.
It's in Minnesota, by the way. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's tough. They got that whole the horn and all that. They're banging on drums, all the Viking whatnot. Yeah, I could see that game being a little bit higher scoring than you expect with the Vikings defense. I'd probably have to agree with you on that, say Vikings, but I think the Lions are going to cover. I'll throw that in there real quick.
Of course you're gambling over here. I mean, degenerate. I know this next game. I know what you're going to pick, and I definitely know what I'm going to pick. Packers versus Redskins. Packers by 1 million.
Yeah.
In Lambeau, it's not even going to be this shouldn't even be talked about, but, I mean, it's just going to be a shit pumping.
Yeah.
And the Packers win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's at Lambeau, if it's at FedEx Stadium, if it's down at Full Hardy Park. Aaron Rodgers is going to come out. He's throwing at least 4 touchdowns. He might scamper into the end zone, rush for another one. Rodgers, expect a big day from him. I'm happy about that. I'm going to be happy about that. Foreshadowing a little bit because I have him in a couple fantasy leagues. Packers, they got one of the better 1-2 punches at running back. The defense has been up and down throughout the year. But I mean, Redskins fans, I'm sorry, man. You better just still hold on to that Capitals Stanley Cup because the Redskins are going nowhere. The Nationals as well.
Don't forget baseball.
I forgot baseball is an actual sport still, but yeah.
Shit pumping round 2, Texans versus Broncos. I think the Texans are just going to come out and dominate the Broncos in Houston. Again, one of the games that is just going to be obliteration. So, Deshaun Watson, probably 4 touchdowns, 3 rushes, something along those lines.
Yep. No, I tend to agree with you on that. Texans obviously one of those teams where you never really seem to get a good look at them. They're in the thick of it in the AFC South, fighting for that first place. They kind of had a couple bad losses on the season, but they come out last week obviously and beat the Patriots, who were looked at as one of the better teams, if not the best in the league. I agree with you. I think Deshaun's going to have another huge game. D-Hop, their secondary in Denver isn't really that great. And, they got a lot of weapons. They got Hopkins, Fuller's back healthy. They got Stills. As I talked about on my podcast the other day, Monday Night Gaming Special with AC Weezy, look for Duke Johnson. I think he's going to have a more...
Cheap plug.
Hey, we're all family here, baby. We got to share the love. Come on. But no, I think Duke Johnson. He's really using that passing game. Carlos Hyde has just been up and down. Can't really trust him, but I think overall that's a solid unit. Obviously, no J.J. Watt for the rest of the season, but they got a lot of guys in that locker room that believe they can win, and you saw it last week.
I got 4 games for you. I need you to rattle off who you pick.
Yep.
They're all shitty games. So. Browns versus Bengals in Cleveland.
Oh.
Do the Bengals stay defeated? I would say yes. I think the Browns actually win this game.
I'm gonna have to flop with you on that one. Andy Dalton coming back. This is still a business. The NFL. These guys are fighting for their jobs. The coaches. Bengals. They've really been a bad team this year. I think they still have some guys that can play. I think the Bengals are going to steal this one in Cleveland.
Wow.
It's my upset pick of the
Falcons versus. Well, I guess so. Falcons versus Panthers in Atlanta, coming off the firing of Coach Ron Rivera that happened just today for the Panthers. Who wins? I got the Falcons by a trillion. There's no way the Panthers rally around this new guy.
No, I agree with you on that, and not to go back to what
Plus
I just
the Falcons
said.
are coming off that big victory against the Saints, so it only makes sense.
Right. Well, what victory? They won a while ago? Because they lost the other day.
When they faced the Saints?
I think they beat them like the first time they played, but they just lost recently, right? That was a Thanksgiving game?
They faced the Saints last week.
On Thanksgiving, right? But they came up short. They got like three.
They won. The Saints.
They got three onside
the Saints,
kicks, but they didn't convert.
Who won that game? I thought the Saints lost.
No, I'm almost positive. 99.9% sure. If I was gambling, I'd put a lot on that.
Fact check
that real quick for me. Don't make a liar out of me, Tyler.
I'm making a liar out of you.
26-18, was that the final?
I don't. You're supposed to know. I don't know. 26-18. I thought the Saints lost. Well, anyways, screw you, Drew Brees, for only putting up 11 points fantasy because you won and you suck. So.
Not to repeat what I said, kind of sound like a broken record, but same type deal in Atlanta. Like you said, the Panthers just fired Ron Rivera. That whole locker room, the whole team is just, a mess right now. But I think all the players in Atlanta, they still believe in Dan Quinn. They want this guy to keep his job. I think Julio's getting a little worn down. They still have Calvin Ridley, and I think their defense is good enough to pull that out against the rookie quarterback out there in Carolina.
In the Toilet Bowl game of the week, we got the Dolphins in East Rutherford, New Jersey, versus the New York Football Jets. I'm going to go with a shocking upset with the Dolphins beating the Jets because I don't know what the hell's going on with either of those teams, and I just want to see chaos.
All I got to say for you, Fitz magic, baby. He's going to catch the dub. Jets are trash. Sam Darnold, you should have just faked like you had mono for the rest of the season. Le'Veon Bell, I don't even know what you're doing. You look like you got your bell rung too many times. Fitzmagic.
Play on words.
Ha.
In another Toilet Bowl game, the battle of the teams that had high expectations, I would say, this year. We got the Chargers traveling to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew back at starting quarterback, might I add. Yep. I'm going to go with the Jaguars because Minshew magic. I just love the guy. Every time I see him, he makes me want to pack a full lip of Skull and wear my jean shorts with a plaid shirt that's cut off. Kind of looking like Morgan Whalen. So, my little flap in the back.
Chasing you like a shot of whiskey. No, I agree with you. Gardner Minshew, he's the homie. Unlike you, I actually do put a whole lip of Skull, a whole tin in there, sit there on the couch with my cutoff jeans.
I care about my jaw, I'm sorry.
And I drink Budweiser. No, I'm playing on that. Jags, I think they're going to come away with the win. And I agree with you on that.
I think this one's the biggest game of the week, personally. 49ers in New Orleans. Both teams 10-2. The Saints, I guess, coming off a win. I thought they lost, my bad. And the 49ers coming off a loss. I know they actually lost off of a game-winning field goal against Justin Tucker, the GOAT of kickers all time. This game is intriguing. In New Orleans.
Yep.
Great defense versus great offense. Great defense versus great offense on both sides, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I think the biggest factor is how well is the defense is going to play. The defense is truly going to win the game for each team this week. I think the 49ers are rattled, and I think the Saints are going to come back, especially at home during this time of year. I think the Saints are just going to edge the 49ers out by maybe 3 points. I think it's going to be another close game for the 49ers, and I just think that the Saints are just going to be too good offensively for the 49ers. But I think it's going to be a hell of a game.
No, I agree. It's going to be a hell of a game. I agree with you on the overall take. I believe the Saints will win it. Drew Brees, it's a home game, like you said. He's going to be at home the night before, warming up, throwing passes to his kids, jumping on the couch. I think he's going to have a hot game. That's Phillip Rivers. I think he's got 26 now.
Right.
26. Fact check that. Him and Cromartie, they could start a whole team with 55 players.
They could start the whole XFL.
Oh man, they could get a whole league going up on that, man. But no, I agree with you. Saints, I think they take that. This will probably be the game, honestly, to decide who gets the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. So I think obviously they're going to be both coming out firing. I think at home, Saints just have a little bit more offensive power. Jimmy G, he might be out too late on Bourbon Street.
They have really good strip clubs. I've read.
9. He's got 9 kids. 9 kids. All right, we got a fact check from Dave.
9 kids. Okay, 9 kids.
Yeah. So like I said.
Did you hear my stat though?
What was that?
I haven't been researching or anything because I'm going to New Orleans in a few weeks. I'm just saying. I've heard that New Orleans has really good strip clubs. So.
Yeah. No, you just heard.
And Jimmy G. Jimmy G has a thing for those type of women.
Yeah.
AKA what's her face?
I mean, I think she was a porn star, but like they say, all porn stars start out in a strip club somewhere. So I would agree with you on that. Jimmy G definitely has a type, and they just like to get freaky. So we'll see what happens.
I ain't got no type.
Hey.
So you got the Saints in that game?
I do. Yeah. I just talked a lot, but overall, Saints.
Saints. Okay. We got the Chiefs traveling to New England to face the Patriots.
Yep.
Did the Chiefs win last week? They did because they destroyed the fucking Raiders.
Yeah. You should know that.
So the Patriots. Okay, yeah, I do know that. Patriots though coming off a tough loss, right?
Yes, against the Texans. Yep. Down in Houston.
Loss against the Texans.
H-Town.
Some say, can the Patriots muster up enough offensive power with the limited wide receivers that they have? Mm-hmm. At home against the Chiefs, I think Patrick Mahomes comes in, and I think he lays an egg. I don't think the Chiefs have enough in them to go into Lambeau against the Patriots defense and win this game for the Chiefs. I think, they're coming off a shitty Oakland team, and they're going to be a rude awakening against a pissed-off Patriots team. And I think Andy Reid's just not even going to know what to do with the clock at that point. And he's just going to find a way to mess it up for the Chiefs. So I'm going to go Patriots, I'm going to say 10. I think the Patriots by 10 in this game. In Lambeau Field in December, AC Weezy, I don't know if you remember, that just rhymed, but I don't know if you remember us going to Lambeau Field around this time.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there. Gillette Stadium.
Holy shit.
You're talking Lambeau. That's Green Bay.
Oh, my bad.
Gillette.
Lambeau. I'm thinking Lambeau, the best field ever made, whatever.
Yeah.
It practically felt like Lambeau.
No,
But
it was cold.
Gillette Stadium.
I do remember.
This time of year.
Yes.
Yeah, this time of year, brick titty.
Very brick. I agree with you on that. I can't say that I hate the Patriots. I respect them. Obviously, I would love to see a new face get in there. Tyler hates them. We got in the chat, we got Big B saying go Bears. Packers stink. That is just, your opinion. It's not true, whatever. You're entitled to that.
Check the standings.
Emotionless. Pat's getting dead soon. Yeah. Check the standings. Big. And if you actually were watching before, I actually picked the Bears this week, so I might have to go back, retract, and change my vote just because of what you said.
No, you can't retract statements here. What's said is said. You can't go back into the past, AC Weezy. What's in the past is done. We just got to look forward.
Damn, that's what my therapist keep telling me too, man. I got to stop thinking like that. Anyways, Gillette Stadium, not Lambeau. I think the last time the Patriots lost back-to-back weeks, I was still a twinkle in my dad's eye. So, yeah, I don't think...
Both of us were.
Yeah, both of us. Shout out millennials.
Hey, Big Tim.
Big Tim, Big Jeff, shouts out. Pats, I think they'll get the job done. And like you said, Gillette Stadium, tough place to play any time of year, especially when it gets a little cold out. I do think the Chiefs grind it out for the rest of the season. They get in the playoffs. And a rematch could be possible for these two teams, which I would actually enjoy. They had a nice shootout a few years back, but I'm picking Pats for sure.
Pats for sure. And Gillette, not Lambeau.
Gillette, not Lambeau.
Sorry about that.
Correct.
We got the Titans traveling to Oakland to face the Raiders. I think I have to go against the Raiders in this game, which pains me being a Raiders fan, because Ryan Tannehill somehow, some way, is playing out of his freaking mind right now, and nobody can tackle Derrick Henry.
No.
So the Raiders' defense is suspect. Derek Carr is suspect. The whole Raiders organization at this point is suspect. I'm going to go with the Titans, and I'm probably going to go with the Titans by 15. It's going to be a blowout. It's going to be sad. I may cry, but and it's on my dad's birthday, and he's a Raiders fan.
Oh, man. And you going against him?
I have to. What I've realized, Austin, is that if I don't go against the Raiders, they end up losing anyway. So if I go for them, they lose. But if I go against them, they have a chance of winning.
Oh,
so
man.
I might as well pick them to lose.
Right, so either way, you
Hey,
kind of...
happy birthday, Dad. I'm picking against the Raiders.
That's the best birthday wish you probably could have ever got. You want my take on this?
Yes.
You actually want it?
I mean, it's probably going to hurt my feelings, but you might as well do it. Just rip the Band-Aid, Austin.
I'll tell you what, man. These Oakland Raiders, I think they're going to come out and they're going to get a win.
Want to know why? Because Coach
Knock on
Gruden...
wood if you're with me.
Knock on wood if you're with me, man.
Coach Gruden, I think even though the team's record doesn't show it, they have a lot of guys that buy into what he did, what he's trying to do with that organization. Like you said, Titans been playing well. Titans are one of those teams, kind of like the Bucks. They beat the good teams, and then I have a feeling they're going to lose against the bad teams.
So basically what you're saying is they play down to their opponent or play up to their opponent. They play to match their opponent.
Yeah.
They don't just play their style.
No, I agree. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Like you said, Henry's been looking good. Tannehill, this is probably the healthiest season he's had since Pop Warner, and he's playing well. Sorry,
It's flag football.
my guy Nasty Nate, my roommate, he's a big Titans guy. I'm going to have to go against him here, but I think the Raiders going to have one of those, trap games, whatever you want to call it. But I think we're going to see a lot of John Gruden doing a little...
Have you been noticing that we've been rhyming a lot this whole entire podcast? You just said Nasty Nate, my roommate. I mean, I've been rhyming that whole entire time I was talking about when we went to the Pats. It's
Dude,
like,
I mean,
we should start our own rap group.
It's AC Weezy, I'm just freestyling, spitting bars. I don't even think about it.
It's just it's subconscious at this point.
That's what it is, man. It just happens. It just comes to me. It's not, it's not something that I work towards. I was just born with it, and I just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, I wake up in the morning and I just piss excellence, but that's that.
As long as you're
we got the
hydrated.
Steelers travel. I'm very hydrated. I got the Steelers versus the Cardinals in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Steelers pull it out. Devlin Hodges is playing really good, and if they win, they're even further cementing themselves in the playoffs, which is the biggest anomaly of this whole entire season with the Steelers, injury-wise. I mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but they're pulling it out, and I'm gonna go with the Steelers by a touchdown. I think it's gonna be close because they're gonna come out and shit on the Cardinals like everybody always does, and then the Cardinals are gonna be competitive and then come back a little bit, but they're not gonna close the door. And I think the Steelers are going to edge them out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that. Steelers, like you said, they've been battling. They've been injury-plagued. Obviously, no Big Ben. Juju's been out for a little while. I think Connor's been hurt as well, right?
Yeah,
If I'm not
he's
mistaken.
not playing this weekend either.
Yeah, no. So there's a lot of guys stepping up. The defense is still strong. T.J. Watt, I think he had at least one sack, couple sacks last week. Jalen Samuel has been backing up Hodges and James Washington. So they're getting some gritty wins right now. I agree with you. I think it'll be a close game down in Arizona. Steelers will come away with it. They're sitting clean right now in the AFC playoff race. They're only just helping the team out for when those other guys come back. And I think they will get the job done.
Yeah. In prime time, we got on Sunday night Seahawks traveling to LA to face the Rams. Seahawks are 10-2, coming off a huge win, and the Rams are 7-5. It's a must-win game for the Rams, playoff-wise, because the NFC is strong right now. I think personally, the Rams this is the game that they shut the door on their playoff hopes and they just get thrashed by the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are just playing too good right now. Russell Wilson proving why he's should be considered at least top 3 MVP this season. Their defense is playing strong. I just don't see the Rams beating the Seahawks. I want it to happen. I want the Rams to do good because they have Blake Bortles, one of the best quarterbacks ever to back up anybody in the history of the NFL.
Yep.
But I just got to go with the Seahawks on this one. My guts, my brain's telling me the Rams, but my gut's telling me the Seahawks. And that's what I'm going to pick by a touchdown, by a tutter.
I mean, the Seahawks, I believe that they are the better team. Obviously, they beat the 49ers earlier in the year. But I'm going to have to go out on a limb and say Rams. Another thing I've been working on with my therapist is speaking it into existence. So I'm going to say Rams, Rams, Rams. As a Packers fan, I don't want the Seahawks to get that number 1 seed in the NFC. I don't want to have to go through Seattle in the 12th man. So I'm going to speak this game into existence. Rams are going to win. Todd Gurley. What's that?
LeVar Ball, speak it into existence.
Exactly, man. He said it. I can do it. We all can do it. The world can do it. And most importantly, the Rams can do it. Todd Gurley, 5,000 rushing yards against the Seahawks. You heard it here first. Rams all day.
Maybe 5,000 for his career, but not 5,000 against the Seahawks.
Listen, just because it's never been done before doesn't mean it's not possible. All right, you're thinking too small-minded there.
Anything is possible. Quote that. KG 2008. Scream it. Last game, I think the most interesting game because today they announced, guess who's back in black? Eli Manning is leading the pack. And he's going to be leading the Giants on Monday night going into Philly against the Eagles. And I'm going to say upset central, game of the week, Eli Manning, prime time. Archie Manning does it again. He does it again. He gets his son, he gets him to play in prime time against the Eagles and shuts the door on the Eagles' playoff hopes. And Eli Manning throws for 4 tutters. Giants come out on defense and stop Carson Wentz and the trash bag wide receiver core that he has, and they win in primetime against the Eagles, and the Giants win that game and only that game for the rest of the season. But Eli Manning back 1 game. You can't bet against Eli Manning. You can't bet against him because when you do, he just proves you wrong, just like he did in all the Super Bowls against the Patriots and any Super Bowl he's won, honestly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I did not know that Eli was going to play. Like you said, he does come up clutch in big games. Unfortunately for him and the rest of the Giants organization, all the fans around the world, I do not think that he's going to pull out this game. It's not that big of a game. Carson Wentz.
It's big for him.
I mean, maybe. You know, this could be his last game of his career. You never know, at least in a Giants uniform.
The guy wants another extension. He wants to play more. He doesn't want this to be the end of his career. So, you know, maybe he comes out, gets himself a nice little 2-year extension next year. Not with the Giants, but gets him a nice little 2-year contract with some other team.
I think that kind of further proves my point where if, you know, he's trying to, you know, prove something to kind of shop himself. If the game plan is for Eli to come out and throw 40, 50 passes, I'm saying at least 3 of those are interceptions. Eagles overall up and down this year. They have more of a solid group of guys. I think the defense will just be overwhelming. Anytime you go into Philly, excuse me, those fans are crazy. I went there before, got a couple beers thrown at me wearing Packers stuff. I think they're going to be reckless, and I think the team is going to be reckless as well. I'm picking Eagles. Real quick, shout out my man Brian in the chat. Sweatshirt swaggy, appreciate it. And all right, Black T, Tyler, I think he's giving you a kind of thumbs halfway up. Get your muscle up.
Wow.
Ha.
Get your muscle up. Aha. I was already at the gym. How about you?
Oh, dude, I've been there twice today.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Once to get the membership and the other to take a shower. Anyways, what's the next subject we got going on here?
All right, so did you pick the Eagles or you picked the Giants? I'm sorry, I kind of zoned out.
I picked the Eagles.
I disagree. Anyways.
That was my Eagle noise.
We'll switch subjects, switch gears out of the NFL, because we spent just 40 minutes on it just now.
Yes.
But I don't know if you saw it, NBA. James Harden, his dunk last night, they called it a no basket, even though if you look at the replay, I wish we could show the graphic, but I'll do it to the best of my ability as I can.
Okay.
James Harden going up for a dunk. What did he say?
He asked if we were ESPN. Not yet.
Not yet, but we're trying to get there. Goes up for a dunk.
We don't have replay.
Ball goes through the rim, underneath the hoop or the net. Sorry, goes through the net, over the rim, and then goes out. And it looks like he missed the dunk completely.
Yes.
But if you look at the replay, you can see from above that it actually goes through the net. And they blow the call.
Almost went through twice, which in that case they should have given him 4 points. Instead, he only got 0. So, big L
it's
for the refs.
It's just baffling to me how we continue to talk about. Well, everybody continues to talk about how the NFL or NBA refs can mess stuff up even more for NBA players. But I just saw that, and it was like one of those crazy things that you just never see in sports. It's like something like that happening where the ball goes through and then just up over,
just
and
so
the refs are like,
perfectly.
oh yeah, he didn't make that. Yeah, it was just like natural.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That was a crazy play. Did you happen to see that clip of Rondo checking out Luka? Homeboy looked like he was ready to risk it all.
He looked like he was about to lick him from head to toe.
Honestly, if he wasn't in the middle of a game, he might have. I thought that was an interesting clip. That was an instant meme right there. It's blowing up all over social media. Rondo, I'm not
like Baby Yoda.
Yo, shout out Baby Yoda, Mandalorian, great show. But yeah, I thought that was a crazy clip. I'm not sure what Rondo had going through his head right there. If I'm a coach, if I'm his teammates, I'm getting upset because obviously he's not paying attention to the game. He's over here checking dudes out.
Yes.
He should be
Crazy.
head in the game. If you're a real teammate, real player, you gotta be committed. If anything, you should have been checking LeBron out. That's just my opinion, but
check in and see if he's open at least. I mean, get the assist, get your assist numbers up.
I mean, Bron's always open. Just toss it up. He comes down with it, easy.
I don't know if you saw, but there was a fan that had yelled at James Harden last night, basically saying that he doesn't like watching a free throw competition.
Yep.
And then James Harden. Do you know exactly what he said? I think he said, "I don't like doing it either, God damn it," or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like getting fouled, all this much or whatever.
And that goes to my point is that that's one of the main reasons why I hate watching NBA basketball is how many fouls are called.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like every time I watch the NBA, I love watching primetime games. Like if you're watching like the Trailblazers versus the Nuggets, or just some team that has like two really good players that you really want to see that you don't get to see often in your market. But I just feel like there's always so many fouls, and it just slows down the game so much, and I think it just ruins basketball as a whole and the flow of it. And I agree with James Harden. He probably is going to regret saying that because he's going to be looking for a foul and he's not going to get it now.
Yeah.
But I think that's like one of the biggest issues that the NBA is running into is ticky-tack fouls being called all the time and ruining the flow of the game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that from a viewer standpoint, a fan standpoint. It's really tough. Obviously, the games are long enough. That kind of drags it out a little more. Obviously, most people grow up playing street ball. Backyard basketball gets a little rough. The only thing I'll say to kind of contrast your point, in the NBA, everyone at least thinks they're the best. They're the best of the best, if you will. So they kind of all have that ego, a bunch of prima donnas. So I see, from a ref standpoint, they're just trying to manage the game, make sure it doesn't get out of hand. If you're not calling fouls, then it could get too far out of hand. People start throwing bows. We've already seen a couple physical altercations where fists were actually thrown. So I think from that standpoint, they just gotta make sure it's called evenly on both sides, and make sure the game is played the way it's supposed to, and doesn't turn into a wrestling match. Shout out Behind the Ropes.
Call back.
Call back.
You mean ring the bell?
Ring the bell. Yes. Is that what I said?
I don't know what you said. It kind of sounded like something else. but
Yeah, no, it did.
I'm gonna pretend like I
definitely-
heard ring the bell.
I'm thinking of, yeah, you said Lambeau. I said, all right, we're good.
Yeah, cool. So it's also kind of touching on the NBA. The draft, not really right around the corner, but they're already coming out with the draft stocks of players. And number one on the board was LaMelo Ball,
Yep.
playing over in New Zealand. He's playing out of his mind, triple-double machine almost at this point.
Yep.
He's just coming out, putting up numbers. And when we had talked prior to this, you brought him up, and it was making me think today about the NCAA as a whole.
Mhm.
Not only are they missing out on LaMelo Ball this year, a guy who's averaging a triple-double, a household name at this point, but they're also missing out on R.J. Hampton, who's also playing in New Zealand.
Yep.
They're missing out on these brand name guys, and the main reason why is because of money. They're not paying the players. My biggest question is do you think, what's your stance on paying players in not only basketball but in the NCAA as a whole?
Yeah.
And what is your stance on it, and how do you feel about it, and do you think they should do it?
No, yeah, I'm all here for it. I mean, obviously, a lot of the, for the athletic organizations, it's mainly the players that are bringing most of the revenue. Like you said, not just basketball, but for NCAA as a whole, all the different sports teams. If they're there, they're putting in the time. I think they deserve to be able to make some money off of their likeness, which, you're already seeing strides towards that. California passed a bill. I don't think a national bill is too far behind them.
I mean, it's not like we're saying pay him millions of dollars. It's more market value.
No.
Like, a guy like Tua is gonna get paid more than a guy that's sitting on the bench in basketball or football or whatever. I mean, it's what that guy brings to the table, and that's what I like about it. I mean, it's very similar to all pro sports where it's market value. This guy brings more to the market than this other guy, and I think one of the biggest things that is people's arguments is, well, I went to college. I have a son or a daughter that goes to college, or I know someone that goes to college. They're not getting paid.
Right.
Well, I mean, they're also not a D1 athlete that's bringing in millions of dollars for playing sports. Playing basketball, playing football. Going to national championships, going to whatever, and bringing in all this revenue for the school and not seeing a single penny of it. But yet they're not getting fed properly.
Yeah.
Their schedule is ridiculous. I mean, this is why they deserve to get paid, because they're not Jimmy or Susie at Penn State. This guy is, whoever at UCLA playing basketball. I mean, it just makes sense why they should do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think like anything, there has to be a rule set involved with that. Certain stipulations. I don't necessarily think that all of the revenue or majority of the ticket sales or anything should be put into the players' pockets. Obviously jersey sales. I think they should be allowed to do endorsement deals, because a big part of that is like we're talking about here, basketball players mostly, and football. Those programs generate a lot of revenue for the other sports at the colleges. So I think if it gets too complicated and more money is being put back into the players. Whereas smaller sports such as maybe volleyball, softball, baseball, don't see as much coming their way, and obviously you don't want to see other athletic teams, programs not have as much income and potentially fold at the hand of that. So I think there can be a world where they coexist, and I think there can be some rules put in place where everybody's happy. Will that happen right off the bat? No, it's going to take some trial and error. But I think one day they'll get the formula down right, and I think everybody will be happy.
Yeah, I mean, and my biggest point to bringing this up was the NCAA now is missing out on a guy like LaMelo Ball,
Yeah.
who is causing shockwaves overseas in New Zealand. They're missing out on a guy like R.J. Hampton, who's probably doing the same, but you just don't see him because his name's not LaMelo Ball.
Right.
You're missing out on this talent because these guys want to get paid and should get paid. And it's just further making the NCAA look stupid because, you have a guy like James Wiseman at Memphis who could have done the same exact thing as LaMelo Ball and R.J. Hampton, and he got fined $1,400 by the NCAA, and he had to pay $15,000 or something like that to charity.
Yeah.
It's just like these guys look like fools because they have great named players, but they're making fools of them. So why would you want to play in the NCAA? Because of the prestige? Yeah, I get that. You want to play for Kansas or Duke or whoever the case may be. But if in the end you're just going to look like a fool and have to sit out 15 games during the season, even though you're going to be a one and done, it's not worth it. Go play somewhere where they're going to pay you and that they want you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if you're in that situation where you might need some income right away, or you just feel like, you deserve the money. Obviously, this has become a lot more popular. Like you said, 2 of the top 5 recruits for next year's draft class. With that being said, I'm not totally sold that LaMelo Ball is the number 1 prospect.
So who do you think?
Competition. I don't know. I mean, Cole Anthony is a bad dude. He's been balling out.
Yeah.
He's been playing in a stronger conference against some tougher competition, in my opinion. Regardless of what happens in the draft, and I'm not sure who's deserving of the number 1 pick right now. I haven't seen enough, of the freshmen, or really college basketball as a whole. I've seen my UConn Huskies play a few times. They beat Florida, who were ranked 15 at the time. But
I don't even want to talk about my favorite team, Syracuse. They're just playing the worst basketball I've ever seen in the history of college basketball right now. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. I know we got a couple buddies, obviously, being from upstate New York, who love Syracuse basketball. Joe Girard, local guys playing there, earning the starting spot, which is cool to see always. I think they'll turn around. But like I was going to say before, my take is I believe R.J. Hampton is a better basketball player than LaMelo Ball. I just think he's fluent. He's a better athlete. If you watch the gameplay, he's taking it to the rim. He still hits the perimeter shots. I think he's a better defender. LaMelo, hope you prove me wrong. I have nothing against you. But I just feel like R.J. Hampton is just a more natural athlete, and I think his game translates to the NBA
I'm going to
better.
disagree with you. I think LaMelo Ball is just a better all-around player. I'm not taking anything away from R.J. Hampton, but I do think LaMelo Ball should be the number 1 overall draft pick. And the only reason I say that is because he's been going against pros since he's been 16, so he's always been playing up his level. He's been playing up his whole level, playing up a level his whole entire life, and he's just been proving how dominant of a player he is. And I think once he hits the NBA, you'll see that right away. And it's kind of like Luka Doncic. Like Luka Doncic always played against older guys, always played against more mature players, and he is showing why now in the NBA how good of a player he is and how important that was to him in making him the player that he is. He's a literal walking triple-double machine right now too, averaging 30-plus, 10-plus assists. He's just balling out right now, and it's really fun to watch. And I think you're going to see a similar thing with LaMelo Ball next year when he gets drafted number 1.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I still think Lonzo's the best baller in the family. I think he's just got the best gene. You see some guys, it's like, they have some talent for specific sports, basketball, football, but then you see people like Lonzo Ball and like Christian McCaffrey, like they just have that quick twitch gene. You know what I mean? It's like that stutter step, or the quick move, kind of reaction almost, if you will. They don't really think about it; they just kind of do. I don't really see that as much in LaMelo, but we'll see. I'll tune in.
Yeah, I think we will. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything else you want to touch on? I mean, we're pretty much
done. I mean, last thing I think you and I had discussed earlier was talking about LaMelo's father, Carmelo, out in the Portland.
Oh. Yeah.
Agent 00. In the words of my man Walt Clyde Frazier, he's been grooving and moving, swishing and dishing. He's been doing his thing. He just got Conference Player of the Week.
Conference Player of the Week. He's putting up 20-plus every game, almost every night.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to watch. I mean, I'm very happy to see it because, I don't like seeing an NBA without Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I hope it's NBA is better as a whole with him there. The strip clubs in Oklahoma City when he goes to play the Thunder, they weren't
that great.
They'll be thankful for him
But
when Portland comes to town. So.
again, call back to the strip clubs. Not that I've been researching or anything, but Portland, has the #1 strip clubs in the United States. Fun fact, didn't know if you knew that. So maybe that could be a small reason as to why he's playing so well. Lala and him may not be going through the same thing, or whatever the case may be.
I don't know.
Keep balling out, Melo.
Yeah.
Keep doing you.
Keep doing
Stay
your
mellow.
thing. I want to see your search history because I don't know what you've been looking up.
I usually use incognito mode, so good luck trying to search it.
All right, that's probably where we should shut it down. I don't know what we're about to get into on that conversation, but
Shit. Yeah. Well, anyways, we got Dave up next at 8 p.m. with the Weekend Wednesday. He'll be holding it down for Insane Games TV. Appreciate everybody tuning in, joining in, commenting.
he's playing Halo, by the way.
Joining me. Playing Halo. Oh, he's playing Halo. But I appreciate everybody joining in. We'll be back next week at 6 o'clock after Ring the Bell podcast. But other than that, we appreciate it, and we will see you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like Tyler said, we got Dave coming up next. I'm back tomorrow night, Thirsty Thursdays with AC Weezy. Hope to see you there. Appreciate it. Later, T.